hairspray. And I know a lot of us use hairspray the traditional way in our hair, but actually there's a lot of uses for hairspray that people don't know about. And they're really useful both in the modeling world and in the mommy world. So one of the many uses that hairspray actually has, or actually is able to do, is dry your nails quicker. And sometimes when you go to a nail salon and you're on your way out, they kind of spray a special quick dry spray on your nails to make them shiny longer and to make them dry faster. And hairspray is actually just that. Next time you want to avoid having to splurge at the nail salon, just go ahead and grab your spray, spray it a little bit on there, and it should dry your coats quicker. Next thing you can use hairspray for is actually when you're sewing. So at the ends of your thread, normally they get frayed or it's harder to thread them through the needle, but if you have some hairspray on you, it actually works better than just wetting the ends because it will stiffen it and it's easier to just thread through. You can use hairspray as a stiffener on your tights, especially if you have children or if you have, say, a school uniform. I know that when I was younger, I always had runs in my tights, and sometimes it's just unavoidable. But actually, if you get like a run in your tight or a hole, if you spray a little bit of hairspray on there, it should prevent it from getting bigger and expanding. You can also use hairspray on your eyebrows. And of course you don't want to get anywhere near your eyes, but if you grab your hairspray and you put it on, say, an old toothbrush or your eyebrow comb, then you should be able to just run it through and that will keep your eyebrows in place. You can also use hairspray on your curtains and on fabric to stiffen it. You can avoid getting a bunch of wrinkles. You can use hairspray also to get lipstick stains out of clothing. So this is actually something that's really useful. Sometimes when you go and kiss your significant other, you get that rub off on them and sometimes you think that the shirt is basically ruined. But in reality, spray can actually help you take them out. And I know this one from personal use, that you can actually use it to get stains, especially nail polish stains, off of appliances. So I've actually used hairspray on my computers because sometimes I eat over my computer or I paint my nails on top of the computer, which is horrible, I know. But if you spray a little bit of hairspray on a towel and you just run it through, that gets the stains right out. The next thing you can use hairspray for is actually something that models do all the time, and I know that I do in everyday life, especially if I'm going out. And it's actually a really good tip for college students too when you're going out. If you spray a little bit of hairspray on the insoles of your shoes or your heels, that actually makes a little bit of a grip, and I guess it makes it sticky, so that your foot doesn't slide in your shoe. And that will save you so many painful blisters and just your feet being sore at the end of the night, because it kind of just acts as a barrier between your foot and the shoe. So the next thing you can use hairspray for is as a preserver. And you can use hairspray to preserve, say, art. When you're done painting or you have your child has painted something for you and you want to keep it for a really long time, if you just spray hairspray on there, it will kind of gloss over it and keep it intact. That also works on, say, a rose or a special flower that you got and you want to keep it. Or I know that sometimes I actually even put flowers in my books in order to preserve them, but if you put hairspray on there, then actually that will help stiffen the flower and you can keep it for longer. You can also use hairspray for recipes, and this is really good if you're a baker or if you just like cooking. And this is really good if you're cooking in the family or you're on the go all the time and you just want to flip through your recipes and sometimes they get dirty. But if you spray it, that should actually protect it from getting stained and you can keep them longer. Another thing that you can use hairspray for is actually when you're doing your DIY projects. And this is good when you're making things at home or when you've got your IKEA furniture and you're trying to put it together. When you spray a little bit of hairspray on the screws, that actually helps them tighten better. So who knew? Something else that's actually pretty useful of hairspray, or pretty fun, I guess kind of like a kooky idea, is for Halloween. And for Halloween, if you want to dye your hair, and of course sometimes parents are hesitant of letting their children use dyes and chemicals in their hair, and I totally get that. I don't know that I would do it on my own children, but something that's actually really cool is if you use hairspray and then you go over it with, say, Kool-Aid, that will actually keep it in the hair and keep some color in the hair. So it's a really good and fun and creative way of dyeing your hair for a night. Else that's super cool about hairspray that you can use it for is actually for gift wrap. And a lot of the times we're on the go. I know that as a college student, I've done this millions of times. When you need to wrap something for a friend or something like that, and you don't have, say, the money to splurge on like fancy schmancy like gift wrap, which can run pretty high if you get a lot of it, if you just grab hairspray and you spray it on a newspaper, that will actually stiffen it and will make it actually work as a really nice wrapping paper, which is super hipster but super cool. And then you can also use hairspray to stiffen wreaths or Christmas trees. And if you have a small Christmas tree, obviously if you have a big one, this is not going to work because you'd need like 30 cans of hairspray. But if you use it on a small tree, or if you have a wreath at home and you spray it, that should actually help preserve it and keep it glossy for longer. And my last tip is actually going to be really useful for all the mommies out there, and maybe even some of you else out there, that if you get ink or say marker on your wall, you can use hairspray to get it out. And that's something that is obviously going to be invaluable, so you don't have to paint all over it again. So those were my hairspray tips. I hope you like those. I hope they're useful. Let me know if you use them and if they work for you. So yeah, thanks for listening, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!